Greetings and welcome to the Introduction to Astronomy. In this week's episode of Multicultural Astronomy, we continue our look at Chinese astronomers and talk about the astronomer Shen Kuo and look at his contributions to astronomy. So let's go ahead and get started. In the 11th century, during the Song dynasty, Chinese science reached a remarkable height. Scholars were not only building great instruments like Susong's clock tower, but also questioning how the universe truly worked. One of the most remarkable minds of his era was Shen Kuo. He was a government official, engineer, mathematician, geologist, and astronomer. But above all, Shen Kuo was an observer, someone who believed the universe should be understood through careful measurement and reasoning. Shen Kuo lived from 1031 to 1095 during the Northern Song dynasty. Like many officials of his time, he was trained in a wide range of subjects: mathematics, engineering, and statecraft. He served in government posts, worked on river control and defense projects, and wrote about everything from fossils to weather patterns. His most famous work is a book called The Dream Pool Essays. In it, he recorded observations and ideas on many scientific topics, including astronomy. Although he worked in many fields, his astronomical ideas show a deep commitment to understanding observation and mathematical accuracy. One of Shen Kuo's most important astronomical contributions involved the pole star. In traditional Chinese astronomy, the pole star held great symbolic importance. It represented the center of the heavens and was associated with the emperor on Earth. But Shen Kuo noticed something important. The star that had once marked the celestial pole was no longer perfectly centered. Careful observations showed that it was slightly offset. Using repeated measurements, Shen Kuo eventually determined that the pole star was not exactly at the center of the sky, and he calculated a more accurate position for it. This was an important step forward. It showed that the heavens were not perfectly fixed, but changed slowly over time. Shen Kuo also wrote about the motions of the sun, moon, and planets. He criticized some of the older models that treated the heavens as perfectly circular and unchanging. Instead, he emphasized the need for models that matched careful observation. He described the paths of the planets as more complex than simple circles. His work showed an understanding that the planetary motion required mathematical modeling, not just philosophical ideas about perfection. Although not all of his ideas were adopted, his approach was important. He argued that astronomical theory should be judged by how well they matched observed reality. This was a clear statement of a scientific mindset: observation first, theory second. Shen Kuo also played a role in the efforts to reform the calendar and astronomical methods of his time. These reforms sometimes brought him into conflict with other scholars, including those connected with large state projects like Susong's observatory. Such disagreements were not unusual. Astronomy in China was closely tied to the authority of the state, and different methods could carry political as well as scientific consequences. But through these debates, astronomy continued to improve, driven by new observations, new instruments, and new ideas. What makes Shen Kuo especially remarkable is his way of thinking. He did not simply repeat earlier traditions, he tested his ideas against observation. In geology, he recognized that fossils were the remains of ancient life. In meteorology, he studied weather patterns. And in astronomy, he insisted that models must match what was actually seen in the sky. His work showed a spirit of inquiry that often feels very modern, an emphasis on evidence, measurement, and revision of ideas when new data appeared. Shen Kuo represents a different side of Chinese astronomy. While some scholars built great instruments and mechanical models of the heavens, Shen Kuo focused on observation, mathematics, and critical thinking. He corrected the position of the pole star, questioned older planetary models, and promoted a scientific approach grounded in evidence. In the Song dynasty, the heavens were not just measured by machines. They were also re-examined by the questioning minds of scholars like Shen Kuo. So that concludes this week's Multicultural Astronomy episode on the Chinese astronomer Shen Kuo. We'll be back again next week to talk about another Chinese astronomer. So until then, have a great day, everyone, and I will see you in class.